Welcome to China Paradigm, a show powered by Dashi Consulting, where we interview seasoned entrepreneurs and experienced managers in China about their business and experience in the country. Hello everyone, I'm Matthew David, the founder of Dashi Consulting and its podcast, China Paradigm. Joining me today are two entrepreneurs, one female entrepreneur, one male entrepreneur in the food and beverage industry. So today I am with Chen Fang, Fiona, your English name, and Jean Boschka, who has created 8 venues and planning to open up to 300 venues by 2045, if I'm reading their business plan. They sent to me a little bit of details of their plans, and that was so amazing, so exciting actually to see the vision, to see the idea behind those restaurants. And how to describe your restaurants? When I look at the Barbarian, I could describe it as coming from Game of Thrones, right? Or between Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, or Zelda for people who play video games. It's a very, very, very unique environment with wood, with a bit of crowded environment with decoration, wood, with a rooftop. And I went to your restaurant because people shared on social media, on WeChat, some pictures. And the pictures were amazing. I said, I have to go there. And I went there, and it was crowded. It was crowded of people. It was a Friday evening or a Saturday evening, and I understood that it was very successful. So now you have 8 restaurants running, and you describe your group, BIBIMI Group, and I forgot actually to say that the group is called BIBIMI, but people know you by the names of the restaurants. You built this group through 4 directions, you say. Lifestyle eatery and bar, mixology restaurants, rotisserie chicken, and lifestyle nightclub. And your plan, when we look at the future, you want to create your own bakery, you want to have your robotic arm. So I was thinking of having all those restaurants, a bit the LVMH of restaurants, because LVMH is known to be able to manage different brands with a very clear identity, a clear community, and to scale the resources behind us, to scale the media buying, for instance, from the group. And I feel you are a little bit on the same segment. I made a very long intro because I'm very excited to have you on the show today. Then by 2024, what you see is that you could be in all tier 1 cities with what you say AI-driven chef. Now it sounds much more like SpaceX or Tesla with AI and coffee beans roastering. And finally, in 2031 and later on, you are planning to expand to APAC with a very, very clear plan. So now you have what you say, a lifestyle brand with Barbarian, Nomad, Hot Chick, Bites&Brew, Bandit, Mania. Thanks for being with us. And how is it going now? We just back to some normal after the crisis of coronavirus.
Hello, Matthew. Thank you for the very good introduction. I feel like I learned something new about ourselves.
Me too.
In a way, it's a good summary. We can say that we're almost 100% back. And during the epidemic period, we actually could gather some new ideas, get more insights on how to run even safer business. We got more plans for our brand. So if talking about where we are now we are almost 100% back in terms of business revenue, and we start to realize the plans that we had, that we got during that epidemic period.
Talking about the size now, it's a question I like to ask to start with. What size do you have now in terms, if you can share ideas of revenue, number of clients you served? We understand that you have 8 restaurants so far, all in Shanghai. But what about the size of the team, the revenues?
Well, it's about size of the team. We have around 160, 170 people totally employed, part-time or full-time. in the group, with around 20-30 people that are management level. Like top talents. In terms of revenue, that would be hard to say because we have different sizes and they have different directions. But I would say that we serve around 3,000-4,000 people every day.
3,000 to 4,000 people every day. So if I do a rough calculation, I believe that it's about 100, 200 GMB per person, right? The average is spending.
Depending on the brand, that's about right. Probably a little bit less. If to take something like on average, probably 150 to 100.
Okay. So can we say that you would be about 20 million GMB per month, right?
It's probably less. Yeah, probably not more than 15.
Okay, we are at the higher level would be between 10 to 20 million GMB per month. It's a sizable business. You have been in how many years? We couldn't find the exact year when you started.
Yeah, our first brand Bites&Brew was opened in March 2016.
So 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
In 4 years, you have been able to build 8 restaurants. You have been able to hire 150 people and serving 3,000 to 4,000 people every day. And it's very, very impressive, especially in the restaurant business, where it's not an easy business to find a location, to stay in the location with the rent increasing, and to have all those safety topics as well to manage. Could you tell us more about the start, the team? I understand that you were 4 of you, but all of you come from very different backgrounds. One of you is a chef, so we understand quite well why what he can do. And yourself, you have been working in social media, and Fiona, you have been working in healthcare, if my memory is correct.
Yeah, that's correct. Actually, it started from 2 people, me and Fiona, back in 2016. And indeed, we're not coming from F&B industry. I'll introduce myself a little bit very quick, and then let Fiona tell about herself. But the story started from me meeting Fiona. She had this dream of opening a restaurant, working with people. At that moment, I had already worked in Linkfluence, which is a social media data intelligence company, for 2 years by that time. And I think my mindset is built the way that I need to do at least 2 things to keep kind of fresh every day, having fresh look at different kind of activities I do. So I found this second activity for myself in this business. So every day I serve Fortune 500 companies doing a kind of social media, big data consultancy and research, and I leverage some kind of insights for my own business, and it's a lot of fun. Then so that's how we started. 2016 we just thought, why not doing something we like, and that's how we started. I'll let Fiona maybe introduce herself a little.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm happy to listen to you. First, I want to say my English very bad. 4 years ago, if I'm not open restaurant, I can't speak any English. So
there are many foreigners in restaurants, right?
Yeah, right. But I often work with the Chinese. So let me let you know who's Fiona. First, thank you. Fiona now is 35 old. Actually, from 22 years old, I'm nervous. I'm nurse. I'm nurse is working at a hospital and imaging nurse. So I love this job actually. I from maybe 8 years old. This is my dream. First, my dream is nurse. So I did it. So I'm really happy. So when I'm working at a hospital, maybe 8 years, I'm a little bit tired. I think if I whole life working nurse, I think I'm waste my life. So that's I start maybe 25, 26 years old. I start think about my new life, what I can do, what I want to do. So maybe 27, I find another new job. This job it's medicine sales. It's at before my company name is Novartis. It's a Swiss company. I first year working there. I really hard and really love my job. Start love my job, but maybe only work 1 year. I think maybe I'm not real like it. I think about I like the I maybe I don't like one by one people to talk for my work. I want to make the big group for my work. You understand my mean?
Maybe
Sorry.
more. So I would say that you like to be more social, right?
Yeah, I think so. So uh, and I think and another thing is my family. I from young living my family. My family is them. A lot of people is make business, but so maybe
Where are you
that's
from?
why. Actually, I'm from China, Anhui.
Anhui. Okay.
Yeah. Now we live in Shanghai. Which I just my grandmother is Shanghainese, so. So then one day, then at Novartis working 1 year, I start my new life again. Then I want to. I think okay, I really want to make the restaurant. So after these things, I already start plan, and after this thinking, think to 2 years, I meet with Jim. So we just the very first time meeting with him, met with him. Then we just, I just simple to say my plan want to make a restaurant business. This time we really start our business. So that's all first. Thank you.
Interesting, very interesting. What's interesting too is that you are not from Shanghai. So Shanghai is a city you had to learn to, and for restaurant business, as we know, location is key. So you had to learn as well, not only the and connections are key too. Not only the business in itself, but also the city and the connections and so on. So I feel the learning curve should not have been that small. You have also two other key founders, Todd and Sasha. So Todd is chef, and Sasha is chief mixologist, basically designing, I believe, and making some of the cocktails. Am I correct?
Yeah, actually, Sasha and Todd, they are not founders. I mean, they're not owners, but
Okay.
they're our key, how to say, top managers.
I
Yeah,
see.
that started on earlier stages with us. Actually, Todd was the first person who made our first menu for Bites and Brews, first on a consultancy basis, and then with years we could afford him. Yeah, and we met with Sasha in 2017 when we started to work on Barbarian project. So
the first restaurant was Bites and Brews, right?
yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so in 2016, and 1 year after, you decide the Barbarian. And you shared your vision to me about how to scale the business with a document with a very precise vision of how to scale your business. Did you have this idea of scaling to dozens and hundreds of restaurants? over the coming 20 years? Was part of the initial idea, or it came up with time?
Was it part of initial idea, right? Well, honestly, yes. My philosophy in my life is that whatever I start doing, I should do it forever. Yeah, and so it should have a very clear long-term future. And that's why when I started this, I already had in my mind that hopefully we can make it to the strategy I shared with you.
And I like to share a little bit of what your strategy is. I mean, as far as I understand, you divided the market into delivery and expensive, low quality restaurants which are delivered by Dianping and so on, which can be eaten away. You have a fast food and expensive, or the one we know, fast food like McDonald's, and you have two segments. You basically position yourself in between, which are fast casual, moderately expensive, and casual dining, slightly expensive, higher quality. So to name them, basically Vegas, Bacon Spice, fast casual, moderately expensive, and casual dining, slightly expensive and higher quality, like Eleven Fresh and Blue Frog. And you are in between. Could you tell us about this positioning? Why deciding to what makes you being in between? Because to decide to be in between is always a good choice, because you feel you can get people from the two sides. But what makes you think you are really in between the fast casual and the casual dining?
Well, before starting any of our concept, we first looked at the current market situation. So depending on the brand, if we, let's say, look at Bites and Brews, what we do is we look at what kind of choices customers have now. And let's say we see a Vargas group, and it's a very business style, and not real, not very expensive, right? We have Blue Frog, that is a bit more on evening business, and probably the bill is around that of Vargas. So we see that, okay, there is a gap for something casual and versus Vargas, which is focused on daytime business. We see that casual evening business is something where we have a big gap in the market, especially considering a fastly growing office workers niche.
I see. And basically, you are saying that it's for every restaurant, you have a special positioning. So when I was mentioning the positioning between fast casual and casual dining, it was specifically for Bites and Brews, but it's not the same if we talk about the Boyan, Nomad, Hot Chick, Bandit, and Mania, right?
Yeah, we can roughly separate brands in four directions. Yeah, in one, Bites and Brews, which is casual, lifestyle, and with the average bill, let's say like 80, 100 RMB. While, let's say, Barbarian or Nomad would be around grills and mixology, so it's a higher bill. Also very casual, yet moderately expensive, so it's like around 200, 300 RMB bill. Third one, Hot Chick, would be rotisserie chicken for takeaway. It's a different business model. It's more like a window business model for a quick takeaway for a nice rotisserie chicken, which is rather healthy versus lots of options of fried chicken. And the first one is a nightclub. For nightclubs, we are opening one in June and the second one in July. And those are like smaller size or medium size nightclubs with here we position ourselves in providing a more quality sound and drink experience versus huge clubs, more massive clubs, where kind of cheaper drinks or more popular music is being used.
So we understand the vision was at the beginning. You started with two founders. Did you have to ask for external investment? Did you raise money to start or to grow?
Yeah, absolutely. So part of our investment comes from our third and very important partner, Jason. You've probably seen them in the document. Him, who actually joined us in 2017. He's a neutral partner, so he's not managing partner. And so far, he was the biggest help in terms of external investment. So far, we've been relying on ourselves, on Jason, and on some bank loans. So
I see. To mention in your presentation, and also that strikes me in my eyes, you say Jason Mang as a part. You mention him as partner, public and investor relations. Usually, this title is for public listed companies when you have like thousands, millions of people to manage as investors. So I got the idea that you may have a lot of different people who may have put some tickets into your business. Am I correct?
Let's say Jason, he's not alone. He has a group of investors behind him.
So you have to manage them, right?
Not really. We manage Jason, and Jason manages his friends.
Okay. Yeah, so would you mind would you mind sharing a bit of the investment needed? You had to scale to this level in 4 years?
With pleasure. I know Fiona is writing something on the paper.
Because a lot of money is I'm arranged, so I know every project is how much. So actually, we I don't know how to English to say. Actually, we almost use 2,300 millila. No, 2,300 how to say?
在中文你可以说。
哦，你可以说中文2300万。
23 million.
Yeah, but the audience cannot. So it's you say 2000.
Yeah, 是你说的是用的。
哦，用的所有的投资。
Yeah, she's talking about how much we used to, what was the amount of investment so far. Yeah, but I've got your question. If you want to scale like in 4 years, let's say, to what we have in strategy, there are two kinds of questions can be here, answers that can be here. We don't wanna, plan is good, but let's see how to evolves. We need to be flexible. So one way is that we do as it's per strategy, and then we need to source probably something around 20-30 million RMB. Yes, external money aside from something that we can reinvest from current projects. Yeah, and this kind of amount that we can probably do staying as we are, like through sort of friendly investors. The other way that we consider possible, if we come across a more institutionalized investor, then things can change slightly and we can grow even faster.
For the first restaurant, did you raise money for the first one?
First restaurant, it was just me and Fiona.
That's what's my understanding.
Yeah.
Okay, my understanding was you had a first example to show investors how good it was, and then you could convince them to put money for the second one, the Barbarian, and so on.
Exactly, and that's the way we want to keep doing. So our first step, goal, purpose is to show that we can be successful as a group, that we can manage different brands, because the strategies that we are trying to promote here is not having one brand and let's say 50-60 restaurants in Shanghai in one city as an example, but having several brands and let's say 50-60 restaurants in total, splitting for each one according to the concept, according to the market size. Because this way we believe we can be more flexible and can stay up to date with the time.
It's super interesting. Sorry, I cut you. Go ahead.
Probably that's it. What is important for us that we see is that the market is so dynamic. It's really hard if we see that some brands, they just get old, they get old fashioned, and customer is so if I can say in a good meaning spoiled, due to competition. And if you are not evolving and you are not even going ahead of customers' expectations, then you are doomed to failure. So what we believe is that we better have several brands, and it's easier to make them evolve, and innovate across several brands rather than investing everything in one brand.
So for the very first restaurant, what money we're talking about? What did you have to invest in to start the first restaurant? It was like I don't know, Arshuwan, Sanshuwan, Sushuwan, to speak in English. So 200, 400,000.
Around 400,000.
400,000. Okay, 400,000 maybe, and then you were able to raise more money for the second one and build those very amazing restaurants, which are Nomad and Barbarian, with a lot of decoration, a very deep sense of design too. What is striking too in how you build restaurants? You're not building a restaurant which is like Italian food, like I don't know, or French food. You are building a concept. And this is what I was very, very interested by. And when we look at the values, and I think that gives us an idea of how you are going to build your next locations, because it's not only restaurants. First, listening to consumers. Second, vibes, to ensure people have fun. Third, sharing. That's why you have a lot of music. And I think that's why you thought about nightclub, if I'm correct. Value, and that's very interesting. It seems that you have a very clear objective to be top ranked on good value for the price. Good value for the price, meaning that it looks like a premium or very exciting places, but still it's still affordable, even if it looks amazing. And then fifth, to be available or to do things day and night. Those are the five, would you say values, or do you say principle? Where does it come from? Does it come from an analysis, from your own thinking, from what you like?
That's really interesting question. So, it's the first time I get this question and somebody who is looking into it. Actually, I share a secret with you. Basis for all those, we can call those values or principles. But the basis for them is always safety and stability. And that's something maybe because of my, constellation sign or something, Cancer. It's what I believe a combination of those things will help us being very stable and go through any kind of situation like the COVID virus epidemic thing. And we have survived. So it's easier to survive if you have a concept that is not relying on on some ethnical like specific ethnical kind of cuisine. Let's say, what if Italian food somehow is not like in next decade because it's not evolving somehow? What if there are not enough French people in Shanghai in several years due to some reason, So, and it just goes against all the kind of vibe sharing, friendliness, kind of purpose that we are doing it for. We want different nations. We want diversity in our restaurants and clubs. And in the end, value for money. It's something that it's really hard to argue with. So when we look at Bon Up or Dazhong Jinping comments, what we look for is the keywords: value for money. in Chinese, like 性价比高. This is the key. If value for money is good, we can fix the rest. If value for money is not good, it's really hard to to stay in the business.
And you mentioned one thing is those social media, Dajong Bon App as well. I don't know how big, by the way, Bon App compared is to Dajong. But it seems that your first interest and your day interest is social media. I guess that it's helping you to design the new concepts. Am I correct that you may use actually social media to understand which concept to develop and where you could build a community? Because you can build a community around the concept of Game of Thrones. You could build a community maybe on another kind of series or kind of IP where you can build the same type of concept. Is it? I am right to think this way, that you use social media where you can build a community for your restaurant? Because when we think about it, Shanghai is about 20 million people. To fill one restaurant, if the concept is right, you have plenty of people to go to a concept that they like. And how many people like Game of Thrones, for instance, in Shanghai? It's certainly counted in hundreds of thousands and enough millions. So if there is a few restaurants which embody this Game of Thrones like, or I don't know, it could be Lord of the Rings, or like I said, maybe a video game like Zelda, or to have this kind of environment, you would feel it all over the year. Was it your thinking, or I'm overthinking?
That's kind of interesting direction. You see, what I do, you mentioned about daytime, is I do research, social media research for different industries, including clients like Pernod Ricard, LVMH, Burberry, Porsche China. So different industries, and we analyze word of mouth, we analyze trends, and so on. So it's very similar to what we're doing here. We use social media for three major purposes. One is to understand and size the market. And this is what you actually talked about in a way. It's probably not like community around of Game of Thrones, but what I see is that, okay, a lot of people say, oh, it looks like Game of Thrones, I really like it. So I see that what kind of concept makes excited what kind of communities, right? What kind of types of people? Are we looking at, young people, who like, let's say, hip hop music and wealthy families, or it's, more like senior professionals, that want to bring some more fun in their life and things like that. The second use of social media would be here is to just is sort of CRM system to get the feedback and respond to it immediately as fast as possible. And we have a person in the company who does it on everyday basis. Every comment, absolutely every comment on that Ping on Bon App will be spread across our team, and we take measures when necessary. It's super important for us. We always remind our team that we do it for people. It's not just for us to have fun. If people don't love it, then don't do business, go do your hobby. If you want to do business, you gotta make sure that people are excited about it, they love it, and it helps them to express their dreams. And the third purpose was it's about trends. So we see trends, we see some signals. That's what I usually do for big brands. What we call signals is that, let's say, we see a few very engaging discussions online, but it's still not big, in the ratio. But I see that, okay, it's growing. So it's maybe just 1% of conversations, but for the last 3 months, it grows like it doubles every time. So I see, okay, it's a signal for some new thing. So we try to spot it, and this is how we can go ahead of market, be ahead of consumers' expectations. One thing is give people what they like. The other thing is to give them something new that they will like. To show them, okay, it can be more. And that's what we try to do with social media.
Very interesting. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and when I talk about social media, it's not only I have a special dashboard that I built for myself, and it's built of various platforms, including Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Not only social media, also like Korean social media, Japanese social media, and so on.
I
That's what I
see.
do. Yeah.
I see. So to summarize, you use social media to size the interest, to size the concept, as I mentioned before, but maybe not as big about community as I was thinking. Secondly, you use it as a CRM to interact with the current customers and maybe new ones to attract them. And thirdly, to understand the new trends. And actually about the trends, I was listening to I think a podcast which was saying that during the American election 4 years ago for the Trump campaign, they actually saw a trend when people were retweeting, sharing 100 times. And that's the size of the US we are thinking about. So trends, as you said, actually, is not talking about millions of billions, but it's something happening. A few people are beginning to share. And specifically about the Trump campaign, they were talking about the world. We should build a world. That's what they were saying. And then suddenly people were sharing again. And it became then a topic in the campaign. But when you reach 100 shares only, so that shows, I don't know if you agree with me, that when you reach like 100, 200, 300, there is something beginning to happen. Is it correct to say so?
Yeah, it's just absolutely correct. Just remember that there can be different timelines. I mean, sometimes it's a matter of several days. Today is a small discussion. Tomorrow is already very popular, but sometimes it takes years. But it still can be called a trend. Things like technology in F&B, right, in restaurants, like the robots that we are talking about. It takes time. And if we don't build our business, if we believe in this trend, right? If we don't build our business, taking considerations that we might get, some parts of operations can be replaced with machines, then we might be late for this trend, in 2-3 years.
I'd like to talk about your competition. I feel the competition, it may not be restaurants. I feel your competition could be Starbucks. I feel your competition could be a theme park, could be Disneyland. I feel competition where people have a good time and stay together. How do you see your competition?
That's very nice to hear. Yeah, there are probably two levels of competition indeed. And one level would be is actually something that goes across each concept, right? And those are like restaurants. If for Bites&Brew, so like for Barbarian, that would be particular restaurants, particular areas, and we have clear kind of competition. But second level indeed is when we're talking about having good time, or where the family goes on weekend. They go to Disneyland or they go to Barbarian in North One. That's also very close, and that's why what we are trying to do and needs us. What we see is that our concepts are growing in size, is in bringing in more customer experience. So if Bites&Brew that we started with is it's a casual lifestyle eatery. Now latest Barbarian is, and the first Bites&Brew was 14 square meters. Second one is 60 square meters. Now latest Barbarian is 600 square meters, because in 640 square meters. And what you will see here, there are different areas, for families, for kids, for younger people. There's a DJ area. There's area for like smoking hookah. there is a tatami sitting area. So we give this mix of experiences for various kind of people, customers that we get. So it gets more and more about experience rather than just having dinner or having lunch.
I feel you are trying to make them exotic, so to some way make it possible for people to be in another environment, to travel a little bit actually, and staying in Shanghai. Do you feel that actually the coronavirus could actually help you, because people don't travel much out of Shanghai now, and let it alone to go overseas. So they have to find some fancy places to spend a good time in Shanghai during, let's say, May 1st holiday. How was May 1st holiday, the Golden Week in China? If it was good for you, that means coronavirus is playing actually in your favor.
That's actually very close to what happened. We like to think that we are not just food business, but we're also in entertainment business. And it played on our hand with actually a virus situation and people not being able to travel now. So that our original idea is to make our places a kind of staycation paradise. That's why they're exotic. You come here, you feel like you are not in Shanghai, that you're traveling somewhere, you don't know where. And it's very successful. We've got very busy on labor, a day holiday from the first day, to the extent that we just couldn't provide as much food and service as needed. And we were happy, but just try to deliver service and quality. And exactly, people feel like traveling. That's the idea. Especially if you look at the, and for each concept, that's the idea. The idea in Barbarian is, feel like you are coming after war. After participating in war, you get like super tired, stressed at your work, and then you come to Barbarian, and you just forget everything. You gotta get very relaxed, very confident, in this atmosphere of kind of stones and very natural materials, huge tree trunks, where you feel that, look, life is more than just stress. Life is bigger, more confident, cooler, more aggressive. It's time for feast, like it was in 1,000, 2,000 years ago.
I like to look a bit in the back end of the machine of the company, and I like to understand what kind of economies of scale can you get by having 2, 3, 8, and maybe 300 restaurants as your what is your dream vision, your big vision, your big goal. So what kind of economies of scale can you expect? We understand that you can have a central kitchen. We understand that you can import by yourself more than actually going through a distributor. What are the things I'm missing in terms of scale that you gain by opening your restaurants?
That's a very good question too. Well, something you told, there is kind of technical part of it, right? Central kitchen, and maybe we import things by ourselves. We start importing company, and we import some key products for ourselves. This is one part of it. There is the other part that I like thinking more about, is us being as a platform for gathering many talents in F&B. Making products of those talents, would it be talented chefs or bartenders, or floor managers, being able to deliver their know-how, their innovative products to a bigger mass of people.
So the scale is in the training, you feel? Because actually what you are saying, what's slowing down to open a new restaurant is the training to get people up to the level?
What we want to give a platform for talents to express their abilities. We want to let talented people to produce more in a way that, let's say, if we have a chain of bites and brews, and we invite a talented bartender who can create innovative drinks and spread it across um, hopefully in future 120 to 100 outlets. So
I
the
see.
business model we want to build is that different talents can take part in this process.
I see. So if I can use a very digital native allusion, your front end is very different from one restaurant to another. The barbarian is very different from nomad, but the back end may be similar with similar drinks, maybe also similar dishes. Correct me if I'm wrong. But basically, you have one chef who could design different menus and different drinks, which could spread over different restaurants, even though the restaurants have very, very different design and identity. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's very smart. You got us. Yeah, indeed. Especially things that go across, like we have these 4 directions, right? So if one direction, you will see that we have a few brands, let's say like Nomad and Barbarian. We call them like seasonal. But yeah, we shape them a bit different way. But the idea here is, but behind we don't have one chef. We like to think that we have a team of chefs or bartenders that come brainstorm and they do something new and they can they become better when they try to do different things internally. Like, okay, now I do we don't wanna one person be appointed to one location and that's it. No, we like people to move and see the world and challenge their talents, challenge their abilities.
Talking about the machine again, the back end behind what we see when we go to restaurants, what kind of software do you use? So I believe you use software for social media. You use your own software, maybe Linkfluence, to understand what's going on socially speaking. What kind of other software do you use to run a restaurant, to run all these accounts you have? Do you use like Hotsuite? Do you use? Could you share a bit of the software you use on a daily basis?
Well, first software would be WeChat. Well,
but WeChat in itself is a very inconvenient software to work, right? It's a very convenient software to interact with people around you, family, friends. But do you use WeChat in a different way with maybe a CRM on WeChat, a mini program through WeChat, or WeChat work?
Yeah, it was a joke. But when talking about WeChat, all we use is just WeChat groups. No, we don't use mini programs or yeah. So there are a few important software programs that we have. One is if we're talking about trends, feedback, then yes, our Linkfluence dashboard that I use personally, being in charge of this kind of part. Then second one by importance probably would be the POS system. And POS system has app on our phone, and we can see analyze data in real time. We see all the order statistics. We see how the revenue goes across different locations. First one would be the camera, right? We have 15, 20 cameras in each location. So sometimes we choose important time and we check some pieces of video, trying to understand how we can improve customer experience. Yeah. And of course WeChat, but the WeChat groups. We like using WeChat groups just because it has history. It helps us to make things more transparent. We require chefs to send pictures of everything that's going on. It's just easier for them. They understand. Everybody understands which are grow. So if there is some kind of wastage, we say take a picture. We have complaint, take a picture. So everything pictures. It makes people be also responsible and accounted for things they do. And that's how like a little know-how that we use and proved to be very efficient. Just
We
asking
haven't heard
pictures.
We have not heard a lot, Fiona. How do you divide your work in between the team? What's your responsibilities and Jean's responsibilities?
You ask me?
Yeah.
Okay. First, maybe I don't know how to say. This is because Fiona and Jean same is serious people. So if we do everything, we very serious and focus. And we do everything. We first to say what to say. We are do what to do. So we let team is receptor, right? Receptor us. 分工工作. Oh yeah, for work, it's first always it's that's crazy things. It's always my thinking is with Jing thinking is together. If Jing,
strategy you do together.
Yeah, and what to do Jing to say everything. If I'm listening, I can know what Jing wants to do. Then I very easy to follow him and support him. And for example, if we find one new project, first we can same level can think, okay, here can do business or here cannot. We can very fastly can know we can do or cannot. If we confirm, then we same level how to building this restaurant. First, I waiting for Jean concept. Then I find the money.
And who is recruiting? Who has recruited those 150 people?
Now we have HR team. Actually,
okay.
Yeah, our team find. Yeah, we don't have time to find the new person, because Jing and me make system. So now almost we think new project. We organize the construction team. Then for service team, we have another team help us.
And there's another question about what do you internalize and what do you still externalize? I believe when you have one or two restaurants, you may externalize 3 restaurants, maybe. But at some point, you may internalize interior design. And for instance, one of the big pieces of opening a restaurant is interior design. Are you internalizing it? And I feel, Fiona, you are very interested in design and interior design. So are you doing by yourself internally, or are you working with agencies, interior design agencies outside?
Thank you for asking. I want to say both. And first, I with Jing same again. It's we love designer. We for me, I love is imaging. It's I'm work a lot, and I often alone if by myself. You understand my mean? Yeah, I give give me time for thinking a lot. Yeah.
How did you build your? Go ahead. For designing, yeah. How do you do then with external agencies or yourself?
For these 4 years, actually, I from Jean send to me picture. First, I get Jean concept. After
board of pictures.
One project almost 20 or 30 piece of picture. Then I can all imagine what a restaurant, what is kind of restaurant, how to do customer will love. Yeah, and actually we have maybe 4 or 5 in restaurant designed by Jin and me and I. Yeah, I just we just find the designer, make the drawing, but every materials by I'm from Taobao find. And Jin
Interesting.
helping me. Yeah, Jin also helped me, send to me. Yeah.
But there are some elements which are purely decoration, design. I understand how you build them now, but there is a part which is architects, which is a bit more technical. Are you internalizing it or externalizing it? How do you do? It could be things like what material to use to build inside the restaurant, electricity, and so on. I understand you use a construction company. I understand it's externalized. But what about architects?
Yeah, I got your point actually. I don't know. Maybe I from 20 years. I like design, and if I see every new things I can remember, and I will imagine how to make it, how to build it. So if I get a Jin give me send to me picture, then I already start how to building. And I really faster. I don't need to use long time. And for construction for new project, maybe we need 1 month, 2 months, and 3 months. But I will do step by step. It's very clearly. It's for example, first I will make the schedule by myself. Then I follow my schedule. What time I should be to do? I just give me maybe can waiting two more dates. So that's why we can do that, and I think also we save a lot cost. We don't need people help us. We buy save a lot. Yeah.
You save money by doing a lot of things internally. I have this metric from a restaurant in Beijing that they were actually cash flow positive 3 weeks after they started, and they were paying back their initial investments 3 months after they started. Are we in the same time frame for you?
I don't think so.
It's longer, right?
Yeah, too long. We first Bites&Brew we use long time because we think we organized and think too a lot. But the second Bites&Brew and how to say if we want to say second Bites&Brew because we got the barbarian. So we first how to say we building second Bites&Brew only 1 month. Then we find the barbarian. So we love barbarian this project. So we stop slowly a little bit Bites&Brew. Then we start building the barbarian. First barbarian we only use 1 month from we get this project and we start business only 1 month. So we know waiting for design and no waiting for construction guy. We just use Bites&Brew construction team move to New Barbarian. So we only use 1 month. And another project we almost is 最多 how to say is best 100 days. For example, now Northbound Barbarian we totally use 90 days.
90 days and you were profitable.
You're right.
Or you paid back the investment in 90 days.
So this what I mean.
No, she's talking about construction. If you're talking
just construction, 90 days. Okay.
Yeah, usually what we plan for is after opening, we plan that within first 1 to 3 months we will be losing because it start. But for project-wise, we try to get the investment back within 2 years.
I see. So 1 3 months to be cash flow positive, so after 3 months, and then pay back investment in 2 years. So the example I got and I mentioned to you in Beijing was very, very quick, and usually it's much longer.
Yeah, it's something unbelievable. Probably.
Yeah. Are you working in Chinese together?
Yeah, we speak Chinese to each other.
Okay, because we didn't mention, but you are from Kyrgyzstan, and I feel that a lot of people learn Chinese, right?
Over there, yeah.
No, I'm not correct. It's not correct.
I mean, we are neighbors, yeah, but it's not something that like everybody does. We are neighbors, and probably more people, proportionally would learn compared to, let's say, people in Europe or the United States. Yeah. But it's not like a big trend or something.
People speak more would speak more Russian or
Russian, Russian and Kyrgyz.
Fiona, I have another question for you. How did you deal with the fact that Jean is not full time on the business? Was it a topic in between both of you, or it has been fully accepted, fully articulated, all good with that?
I got you. One thing is because Jin, he designed the concept. He used the phone working a lot, so we don't need Jin really at restaurant for work. So it doesn't matter where's Jin, but of course it's Jin at restaurant. It's we can more faster work, but Jin is very high quality for work, and balance is very good. So and I love Jin. Him company work Lincoln. So data. So I like him also because he loves this job and he happy working with his company, and he can get a lot of new and fresh news for thinking it's a restaurant business. So that's why and I love my job now, and I also I high quality. It's how to say very sensitive. Yeah, a lot of details we can faster get it, then we can fix.
I like to end up the interview with a couple of questions, typical questions. I think Sophia, who has been in contact with you before, has already sent you the questions. And the first one I'd like to ask, and you use a lot of imagination and thinking. So I'm really interested to know what kind of books inspired you in your entrepreneur journey. What kind of book inspired you as a person to? Could be books, could be movies, could be other cultural material.
Thank you. Wow, this is you can't believe. For now, I like a business book. Yeah.
Which one?
And for recently, I reading Trump.
Donald Trump. So which one from Donald Trump? He wrote a couple of books.
Sorry, this is me. I didn't get it. Trump 自传 by himself.
Yeah, but what's the title? 什么书?
Oh, it's very that's I love. He said, I have a lot of money already. I don't need more money for my life, but I'm really happy make money for my life. He said, right? And I reading this book. I'm really happy. Why I'm happy? I can't believe it's. I have a lot of thinking same as Trump. You understand?
I understand.
Yeah, and Trump work style. I'm same. A lot of details same, and Trump also, and Trump to how to building him business. I'm really happy things about also now I'm same thinking at same for maybe 4 years ago, Trump same level. You understand what I mean?
I got
I want, yeah, and how to say it's he have a lot of power. He very smart, and he very have quality for work, and he has very good choice. His team. That's very important, and he has a lot how to say brave, 勇敢.
Mhm.
Yeah, and he can. I saw him. He bought maybe 2 projects, but he waiting almost totally together. One project waiting 5 years, then he real can do. So that's meaning he invest a lot of money, but he need waiting 5 years. He can do this business. So I want to say it's don't have a lot of people can do this. So if he win, he have reason why he really win.
Interesting. I think it's pretty rare those times to hear so positive words about Trump in China. So thanks for compensating it. What about you, Jin?
Yeah.
Matthew, I have a bit special approach maybe to it. I don't read books.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a bit of my personal history with books. I read too many books when I was young. I wasn't, playing outside on the streets. I was reading books. I spent like my childhood in library. After that, I sort of got sick of those, so I just stopped. Actually, I used to in high school, and I used to write poems and so on. I even got published. Yeah, and then, but after that, I lost interest in it, and I just.
What do you do to get inspired then? Do you watch movies?
Yeah.
Do you read newspapers then?
So what I like doing is reading news, and I would say critically reading news.
Which news do you read?
Yeah, I like reading anything I tell you, but I read CNN, Bloomberg, Economist, some Russian media. I have lots of industry related, like fashion, FMCG, social media, digital media related, and technology related WeChat accounts on my phone that I read, like Tech Papa and so on. So yeah, I like reading anything that is trendy about technology, about business, about economy, and honestly,
Something fresh.
Yeah, I like politics. But what is important for me is that I read it not just for reading. I read it critically. I like reading and analyzing. I test news for common sense, and what it gives me is I pick up many good trends there. That's what I like, and I absorb a lot of good skills from famous, efficient people. I like listening to, let's say, Elon Musk's speeches, interviews, and again, I take it critical. I like, I always get a few important points from the speech. I don't listen to content. I listen to his approaches, to some good routines.
And how you could apply it for yourself for the future.
Yeah. I should say I don't like to copy things, and that's why I always put my kind of critical thinking to it. But at the same time, I absorb a lot of good skills and routines from different efficient people. Yeah, I was just something I missed. I spend every day, sometimes up to 1-2 hours probably in YouTube, watching TEDx. And
I'm curious. Do you listen in speed 1 or speed higher speed? Because I feel you want to get a lot of information at the same time.
What's this, speed 1 and speed 2?
Do you listen to YouTube been speed one, or do you accelerate to actually get even more information? You can choose the speed, right? You didn't change the speed.
Yeah. I don't change the speed, but I jump.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. Otherwise, I don't have enough time for that.
Yeah, it's. You want to say a few more words?
Sorry. Yeah, for Fiona, today I thank you. You give us opportunity to talk, and I will after this meeting I will think a lot, and I will training by myself. Let me more mature, and and another thing is because I reserve my tooth at a hospital. I gotta go.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry for that. Thank you very much for your time. It was very instructive, very good interview. And I have, with the plan you have to open up to 300 restaurants, maybe when I will get retired, I will tell to my grandchildren, I interviewed them when they started. So I hope I can do that when you will be at your 300th restaurant. I want to also thank Etienne Dahl, Liu Fengyuan, and Sofia Bakhta, who make this podcast possible by gathering information about your business and yourself. And again, thanks for the time you spent with us. I hope that everyone who is listening now has enjoyed the talk. Bye-bye, everyone.